So, one of the more interesting expansions for Stellaris has finally been released, and that is, of course, Distant Stars. So, the question here, like we have asked ourselves before, is this worth your money? Should you buy Distant Stars? So, first of all, let's go over the features that we have within Distant Stars. It adds a ton of new anomalies. It is no secret that the mid-game in Stellaris is definitely lacking quite a lot of content in terms of gameplay, because once you start, finishing up the exploration phase within the game, things start to die down a little bit. And thankfully, Distant Stars is adding a whopping 50% more anomalies within the game. That is over, more than 100 anomalies being added to the whole scope of everything. And they are not just click here, receive research, or click here and get something. No, these are extensive and branched event chains, not just standalones. These are long-term events that can really make things interesting. In addition, we've got 3 new Leviathans. We haven't had any Leviathans being added since the samely named Leviathan expansion. The Taijanki Matriarch, as well as the Scavenger Bot, that work kind of like the... if you don't have the Leviathans expansion, kind of like the Pirate Galleon. If you do have Leviathans, kind of like the Space Dragon. And then there is the Void Spawn. Now, the Void Spawn is a very long and extensive chain, and in the end, a Leviathan will spawn and, make your life a little bit more miserable. In addition, there is continued support, of course, through the Curator Enclaves to deal with these new Leviathans. There are a ton of new, unique systems added to the game. This is something that I have been wanting for quite some time, as, Zanam and Sanctuary do become a little bit boring after seeing them for the 50th time. Over 20 to 30 new unique systems have been added, and this can range from a cluster of wormholes to, some more interesting things, such as a shrouded world that is actually popping up at some point, which is actually kind of cool. And finally, the main course of the expansion, at least that's how it's kind of being presented here, is the addition of the new LGates system. Now, the LGates are completely separate from the gate system, and it leads to a new area in space. Now, whatever hides in that area of space can differ every single playthrough. Effectively, what Paradox has done here is a similar situation as with the endgame crises, where multiple things can happen, or at least one option of multiple things can happen. There could be something good in the other side of the gate. There could be something really, really bad at the other side of the gate. Or a cow level, and that's really all I can say about that, and that's for something for you to discover. All in all, it does kind of work like a potential mid-game crisis, kind of akin to the cons from Apocalypse. So overall, it is really, really interesting to see how this all develops. Of course, in tandem to this, the 2.1 Niven update has been released as well, with a slew of new features. Now, here's the question. Is this expansion worth your dime? Well, overall, this package will cost you about $10, and that is pretty much the same as the very first expansion for Stellaris, which was the Plantoids one, which just added a bunch of ships. This expansion, while not really adding any new ship models for you to play with, although something may be hiding behind the LGates, does add a slew of new storyline related material, and that is pretty much what you're going to get out of this. A full increase of a ton of new events, which makes the game very, very fresh. The addition of the new Leviathans definitely make things interesting and does give the galaxy a little bit more flavor. And on top of that, the LGates give you some mystery, something to unlock, something to look forward to at the end of the mid-game. And for $10 and or local equivalent, Distant Stars is definitely something worthwhile when it comes to picking up something new on Steam and or your local, key provider of choice. Yeah, Distant Stars. It's really good value. Thank you so much for watching. If you wanted to see more Stellaris content, you've come to the right channel. Feel free to give it a like and or subscribe for more Stellaris content to pop up on your feed. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other.